Netflix's newest series 1899, which is set aboard the Kerberos, a migrant steamer sailing from Europe to New York, follows the diverse group of passengers who are hoping for a better life in America around the turn of the century. It turns out that their trip is anything but easy. A ship from the same company as the Kerberos that went missing in the middle of its journey 4 months earlier was the Prometheus. There is a real air of dread that hangs over their travel because this disappearance is still very much on the minds of the crew and passengers. Outrage therefore results when the Kerberos abruptly gets anonymous coordinates, probably from the Prometheus, and modifies course to investigate. The mystery at the heart of 1899 starts to come into focus at this point. In the opening scene of episode 8 of 1899, Elliot runs up to her mother, who is holding a green bug. Before putting the bug in a lockbox, Maura advises him not to do so and tells him not to cage the bug. He then decides to call the bug Alfred. Elliot makes the decision to let the bug go as a result. As he does so, he opens his eyes to find himself in the pitch black in front of that odd pyramid. When Elliot awakens, Henry is there to welcome him, showcasing the monitors and asserting that Maura had successfully duped everyone. She is the only one who can get them all out of here, though. Henry offers, "If you're brave enough, I can show you the truth." With a few button presses, he transports Elliot to Maura's memories of the hospital because he wants Elliot to remember. Ake Larson boards the Kerberos after swimming there, but suspiciously not getting wet, and confronts her about what's going on. Maura acknowledges that her memory is severely damaged, but she discusses what she knows about Henry and the boy before stating that the world is a simulation and that nothing makes sense. The fact that none of them can truly recall getting aboard the ship lends credence to this theory, yet communication problems arise due to the language barrier. Everyone who has exited the plane has an envelope, and it seems as though they are all there for a reason. Daniel attempts to get the electrics going again with his equipment as they discuss what this means. But after hearing what Maura has to say, everyone loses faith in her and eventually departs, stating that they cannot rely on her and that they must abandon the ship. Ake Larson is the only person who stays with her because he has seen the hatches and what is inside. Maura tries to make sense of this reality, thinking that it might very well be a fabrication of the actual brain with a similar structure. Behind one of the walls, they discover a hollow panel that contains a lamp and another path. Daniel is able to manipulate the electrical panels as they pass through, speeding up the growth of the weird black metallic substance, spreading throughout the ship and warping the various cabins and corridors. Henry takes the youngster to room 1011 and is adamant about telling him the truth. Henry encourages Elliot to sit down and injects him with something that causes him to awaken in a different recollection. He appears to be dying, and Maura plans to try to assist him. Maura vows to make him forget everything so they can all be together, rather than letting him go. He remembers Henry as Maura injects him in the neck. Elliot is kept alive by Maura by being imprisoned in this simulation. This is a doll's house, according to Henry, a creation made especially for Elliot. This is Plato's cave allegory again, and the notion that knowledge has limits. The entire time, Elliot's parents had been telling him lies. There is a way out, but only Maura has the key. A keyhole with the word "wake up" just so happens to be there as the Black Pyramid is opened up using that key. Daniel, who alters this ship's universe and places each passenger in a distinct simulation, is responsible for the simulation's radical change in architecture. The virus, possibly this dark metallic substance, is spreading throughout the ship due to manipulation of the coating. When Henry notices this, he is taken aback and wonders what it implies. The horde of surviving passengers reunite in the ship's passageways after fleeting flashes of horror from many worlds. Ake and Maura are moving further into the mental facility when the turncoat cop stops them and demands the key from Maura. He pushes several buttons on his device to coerce Maura into giving it over as the simulation starts to break apart. Additionally, he apologizes to the captain before pressing yet another button that knocks him to the ground. Maura is brought to her father, who continues to press buttons on that portable console. As a result, Maura is taken to the mental hospital and restrained in a chair. As Henry confesses that Maura is the real author of this simulation, Elliot observes in silence. Daniel helped her get there, and she coerced everyone into this loop. Henry is determined to get out of here, but doing so will require coercing Maura into entering the simulation once more. Nothing happens when the pyramid's key is turned. The simulation has been entirely distorted as a result of Daniel changing the programming. The simulation is erased as the remaining passengers unite. Outside the psychiatric hospital, hidden behind a hatch in a kid's room, Daniel and Maura are both together. Daniel explains that this is the first simulation the two have ever made and that his strategy to alter the code appears to have been successful. Initially, the syringe was used to launch a person back into the simulation, but this time, Daniel altered the coding so that the syringe would pull Maura to the sanctuary. Daniel continues by saying that he has also changed the values of the pyramids, making Henry's pyramid entirely meaningless. The wedding ring, which contains the exit key, contains the true code. The person in command of this simulation is Maura's brother, not Henry, Maura, or Daniel. Daniel implores Maura to awaken so they can stop him before it's too late, saying, "This is so much bigger than you imagine." When Maura presses the ring, she abruptly wakes up and discovers that she is attached to an odd machine. All the other passengers and characters are present, still wearing their wedding rings and wearing machines on their heads while they are in stasis. The camera pans out to reveal her within the enormous Prometheus spaceship, which also houses a number of other compartments outside the window. The same warning we read in the books aboard the Kerberos is displayed on the monitor. May your coffee kick in before reality does. Project Prometheus seems to be the name of the overall survival effort. And a number of revelations are displayed on the monitor. There are 550 crew members and 1423 passengers on board. In reality, the date is October 29, 2099, not 1899. Additionally, Maura receives a telegram from Sire and welcome her to reality. The startling conclusion to 1899 makes numerous major revelations. It comes out that Maura's brother is in command of the construct and that Maura is far more involved in all of this than we originally thought. The key riddles this year can be resolved by seeing how the ship works and what it all signifies, albeit some details, like Mrs. Wilson taking up her cup of tea in episode 1 simultaneously with everyone else, don't exactly make sense in light of what we now know. It will take time to determine whether the reality Maura has woken up in is indeed genuine or only a larger component of a complex mousetrap set up to occupy Maura while her brother engages in far more dangerous activity. In either case, however, everything here is left on a tantalizing cliffhanger, leaving the possibility of this one's future development open.